Good evening, everyone. I'm Sheriff Sam Page. I've got a little bit of information that I need to put out there to you before we see the movie, and Kevin said I've got 10 minutes, so I have got to be quick. But I do want to, first of all, thank everyone. You all are our special guests. Tonight, I was asked by a reporter, who have you invited here tonight? I said, I invited anybody and everyone. Anyone that has any interest on our nation's border security and has an interest on our illegal immigration situation, immigration policy in the United States, you all are invited. Because the way I look at it, we're all stakeholders in fixing these issues that are in our country here. But I do want to thank, first of all, I want to thank President Mike Helmet with the Rockingham Community College for allowing us to be here. I would also like two of my ministers with our faith community that work within our jail ministry. I'd like to thank my two ministers that are here that also work with me with our Latino population in Rockingham County. Pastors, where are you at? Pastor, right here. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate you being here. Thank you. I also want to thank, I have some law enforcement representatives here. If you're a law enforcement representative here in Rockingham County, would you raise your hand, please? Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I have invited every sheriff that surrounds Rockingham County and every chief of police that's from this city, from the cities that surround in the county, to be out here. And I want to thank them for being here in attendance. Also, we have some elected officials here. If you're an elected official in Rockingham County, would you raise your hand? Everybody just look back. Got elected officials. Thank you for being here. And we also have some candidates that are running for office here, and I want to thank you also for being here. If you're a candidate running for office, raise your hand. Thank you for being here. The purpose of this film. About 2 months ago, I was down in Wilmington at a seminar. I was talking on the Secure Communities program, and I had the opportunity to pick up a DVD, and I brought it home. It was called They Come to America, The Cost of Illegal Immigration by Dennis Lynch. I didn't get a chance to watch the movie then, but I watched the movie, and then I brought the movie to the office, and I asked some of the staff officers, I said, would you ladies and gentlemen please watch this movie and see how this applies to public safety and crime issues in Rockingham County. They did. And they recommended and agreed that we ought to show this movie to the public. So again, I do this as a public service, and I also do this as informational because a lot of people still don't know what's going on with the border issues. You saw up here a short video. I went to Arizona 2 years ago to see for myself because I always believe that you need to go to ground zero where the problems are and see what's going on. 2 weeks ago, I went to El Paso, Texas. And I want to let you know that the first trip, I paid for myself. The second trip, I let the criminals pay for because the money we seized from them, we reverted to plane tickets. So we appreciate being able to use their resources. We do have crime issues in Rockingham County that are associated with persons that come across our borders. Now, I want to explain something. Every person, in every community that we live in, every community, there's a small amount of people that are committing criminal offenses. It's a small amount for committing the criminal offenses that we have to investigate. But my responsibility as a sheriff, and these chiefs out here and these sheriffs are out here, their responsibility also to investigate crimes that occur in their communities and also protect and serve all people that reside in their communities. And that's what we do. My responsibility as sheriff, again, is to maintain the jail, protect the community, answer calls for service, provide assistance to citizens when they call and when people call for assistance. And likewise with the chief of police that are here. We're not immigration agents. Immigration has a role. And I'm demanding and I'm requesting immigration get back on what they're supposed to be doing. But tonight, I want you to have an open mind. I want you to watch this movie. Any preconceived notions of any trailers you may have watched before coming in here, I want you to put that aside. I want you to watch this movie right here, and I want you to glean some information from it. Now, I have a little excerpt here, and I'm going to read through this real quick. This is the National Sheriff's Association position statement, and you'll hear this word, comprehensive immigration reform. When you hear that in Congress, it's a little different. When you hear from the National Sheriff's Association, we have a different position. But this is our current position as of January 2011. It is critical that local law enforcement maintain and build upon partnerships with federal law enforcement to ensure collectively that we can promote, protect, and preserve the public safety and homeland security. The problems that have been occurring on the southwest borders have been occurring for a long time. Unfortunately, the sheriffs in those locations and the law enforcement down there have had to deal with these situations, dangerous criminals and their impact on the communities that also spread nationwide. Because what happens, just like this training I went to 2 weeks ago, what happens if the border does not stay there? It's coming into our communities. In the past 2 years in Rockingham County, this is why I'm interested. In 2 years in Rockingham County, got the chief of Eden over here myself, working with the Drug Enforcement Agency. 13 persons have been arrested in Rockingham County, have been affiliated with the Mexican drug cartel, trafficking drugs, large amounts of monies, large amounts of drugs, weapons, and potential for violence in our community. But thanks to the work of these agents with the Eden Police Department, the Drug Enforcement Agency, the surrounding law enforcement agencies, and the Sheriff's Office working together, we've been able to get a better handle on the situation. But on our borders, we still don't know who is coming across our borders. We still don't have a good check. I know that over 340 million people come through checkpoints with Border Patrol and border agents every year in America. 340 million people. But that's authorized checkpoints. I've been to the border. I've seen the fences, and I've seen the barbed wire strand that you can drop it and walk right across. We don't have enough Border Patrol agents. We don't have enough immigration agents. Therefore, the National Sheriff's Association recommends the following. Enforcement of the immigration laws currently on the books. The federal government effectively and efficiently that we ask that they secure both the southern and northern borders. They provide assistance to the SCAP program. The SCAP program is where we receive funding when we house persons that are charged criminally in our jails, because up until a few years ago, we didn't get any reimbursement. In the past 2 years, we've housed 123 criminally charged illegal aliens in our county, and it's cost us $257,000. We do not get reimbursement full amount, but it's cost us $257,000. That's as of today. We also have what's called HIDTA, high-intensity drug trafficking areas. I don't know if you know this, and this is why we're fighting the fight against the cartel and the drug trafficking organizations, is because North Carolina is number 2 in drug trafficking routes next to Atlanta region. That means when drugs come to the southeast and moving up the east coast, they're coming to Atlanta, then they're coming to North Carolina. And when we're arresting 13 people that are tied into drug trafficking organizations in Mexico, and let me tell you something, here's where I feel also. Do you realize in Mexico in the past 6 years under President Calderon in the fight on the war on drugs, over 55,000 people have been murdered by the cartel. Those are human beings. Those are lives. And we need to pay attention. But also, I don't need those deaths coming across into the United States, coming across in 2 to 3 days and occurring in Rockingham County. I talked to the sheriff in Alamance County. He said he's already had 2 persons that were murdered in cartel-related homicides. 1 is too many. We've had 4 Border Patrol agents shot, killed in 2 years. That's 4 too many. We're asking for additional ICE agents, Border Patrol agents. We're also asking for continued increased funding for our 287G and Secure Community Program. All 100 counties in North Carolina participate in what's called secure communities. When a person is arrested for a criminal offense and he's brought to the jail, if it's determined that he's not born in the United States, his fingerprints are checked through the database, federal and then the immigration database. It helps us to better identify who's coming in, because as a sheriff who runs a jail, it's my responsibility to know who's coming into our facilities and who's being released back out to the communities. We have that obligation to you. There's a couple more things here. There is a request that Operation Jumpstart, where there was a deployment of soldiers to be used solely for entry identification teams in support of U.S. Border Patrol. We're asking for support there also. There has been a strategy that was put out last year by Todd Staples and also General McCaffrey in Texas Department of Agriculture. It was a military strategy to effectively secure our borders. And last year when I went to Congress, ladies and gentlemen, I brought about 5 or 6 copies of a 172-page document. I brought it up there and provided that to congressmen staffers so they could have that to provide to the congressmen for their reading to understand there are ways to better secure our borders. We're asking for support and improved workplace verification under E-Verify, and also on the pathway to legal employment and legal status. The National Sheriff's Association does, at this point in time, strongly opposes outright amnesty for those individuals currently here illegally. Amnesty does not work. However, it is unrealistic to assume that 12 to 14 million people will just leave the United States if asked. A plausible solution must be developed, and that's why I'm saying tonight, after you view this video, this documentary, think about it. when you leave out of here, I want you to think, that what I want you to do is I want you to think, I need to call my congressman. They represent me. Not only your congressman here, but we need to reach congressmen across the way. We've got 435 representatives and 100 senators that need to pay attention that come January, immigration's policy in the U.S. and border security needs to be a priority. Because if we don't protect our nation's borders, who knows where we're going to be many years down the road. So again, that's where I asked. I did say that this was approved in 2011, and again, I will be sitting on the National Border Sheriffs and Immigrations Committee starting January, and I will try to periodically give you information about what's going on. But everything I do that applies to the committee directly impacts my community, directly impacts my fellow chiefs, law enforcement, elected officials, and citizens and people that reside in this county. So I got to make sure that when I go to Washington, if I go up to Washington to work with the National, I got to make sure that I hit the mark every time. And I've been asked before, were you successful when you went up there? Sometimes you don't know. You just got to, sometimes you just got to keep hitting. But I'm not going to give up. Now, I've asked you to be open-minded about this video you get ready to see. Kevin's giving me the 2-minute warning here. After you see this video, here's how it's going to roll out. After this video is shown, and it's over, I'm going to go out in the hallway. I have a business card with my home number, my office number, my email. If something stirs you after you see this video and you go home, I want you to call me. I don't care what group you're with or where you come from. I want input, because what you tell me, I represent the people of this county. What you tell me, I'm also going to bring to Congress. But outside, I agreed with Mr. Lynch in order to show his movie. He's let me show this for free, but I do have some copies of this movie. They come to America, the cost of illegal immigrations. Outside and out there on the bench, there'll be someone that we selling some of those. All those monies go back to allow me to be able to show this for free. So again, I appreciate your support there. Now, last thing. We need to look at not Band-Aids for fixing the immigration policy in the United States. We need to look at long-term fixes. In June, just prior to June, I wrote a letter to the president. And they responded back, and what the article in the newspaper said, Sheriff to Obama, do something. That wasn't the total content, it was just a short version. But what I asked him to do is look at our immigration policy in the U.S. with our congressmen, see if we couldn't do a better job at looking at a long-term fix. Now, right now, you've got a deferred deportation process for persons that are dreamers. Certain qualifications, if they apply, they could qualify for deferred prosecution. If nothing changes in that law in the next 2 years, those persons, how much better off are they going to be in 2 years down the road? Right now, 11 to 14 million undocumented illegal persons living in the United States. 3, 5, 10 years down the road, where are we going to be? So again, we've got to look toward long-term solutions. And I want to hear solutions. I don't want to hear complaints. I want to hear solutions. What can we do to fix these laws? So again, as a sheriff, I appreciate you letting me come out tonight, presenting this movie. Again, at the end, I'll be outside, and when it's over, it lasts 2 hours, so I'm going to be quiet, and I'll be outside with my cards. Please take one of my cards, and I want you to recontact me later. We don't have time to engage tonight after the movie, but I will make my door open to anyone, any group, or anybody who has concern about what they see or what we've been talking about. Thank you very much, and again, remember, this is the greatest nation in the world, and I'm going to do my part to keep us where we're at, on top. Thank you.